a parent to murder a child. Animal cannibalism was once thought to be extremely rare. But scientists are discovering that it's just another survival tactic, a natural behavior now found very close to home. Recently, a Japanese film crew shot some of the most horrific scenes of animal cannibalism ever seen. Male chimpanzees attacking a mother to murder her child. These images shocked scientists around the world. Was this normal? Why did it happen? Especially in an animal so closely related to us? The answers aren't easy to find or accept. We don't like to admit that cannibalism could be a fact of life in any species.
I think because cannibalism seems so horrendous to us, people have long been reluctant to admit that it might be part of the typical behaviour or repertoire of an animal species. They preferred to view it as something that would crop up only under unusual and difficult circumstances. But in the last few years, I think there's begun to be a growing acknowledgement that cannibalism really can be part of the natural behaviour of a species. It can play an adaptive role.
So why do animals eat their own? Several reasons are coming clear. The first is simply hunger, as American alligator scientist Dr. Kent Vilt found in the swamps of Florida. Cannibalism is much more common than anyone thought.
Each year we catch as many of the young hatchling alligators from that year as we can, and we put these small web tags, numbered tags, in their feet so that we can identify each individual. And we began to find a lot of these hatchling tags in the stomachs of adult animals that had been harvested. We've always suspected there was a lot of mortality among young animals from wading birds and small mammals and things like that. Now we have pretty compelling evidence that a lot of the mortality that occurs is due to cannibalism by other alligators.
Female alligators lay up to 50 eggs and bury them in a mound of leaves and mud. The mother guards the nest until they hatch, and the young start to call to her to open the nest. Then she carefully carries them in her mouth down to the water. For the first 2 months, they're safe. Their mother defends them from predators. But after that, young gators are on their own, at the cannibal's mercy. Adult alligators don't discriminate. They pick off any young they catch out in the open. To them, it appears, babies are just a light snack. Luckily, enough babies survive every year to keep the numbers up. In fact, Dr. Vilt thinks cannibalism may help stop the population getting too big. A way of maintaining the status quo.
Most predators that we think of are generally controlled by the number of prey species that they have to feed upon. But that doesn't appear to be the case with alligators. Alligators are probably controlling their own numbers simply by aggression. If you spend enough time with alligators, you will eventually see some of these acts of cannibalism. They are common enough that you will chance upon them.
Alligators do eventually grow out of danger. They seem to be safe once they reach 2 meters long.
Cannibalism can simply be a way to gain extra food, but I think on the whole, tackling a member of your own species can often represent a significant challenge. It's more difficult than picking on a prey species that's smaller or less well defended than you are. So where cannibalism does serve as a means to gain extra food, it's very often targeted at juvenile, smaller, more vulnerable members of your species.
When two adult scorpions come head-to-head, they're armed with deadly, stinging lances. But these two are about the same size. This battle should end in stalemate. Smaller scorpions are not so lucky. A quarter of all the energy scorpions eat comes from cannibalism. As with the alligators, it gives them a good meal. But this scorpion has also just wiped out a potential rival in the endless search for other food. And that's a major bonus in the desert. But cannibalism can backfire. On the Chacoan plains of Argentina lives one of the greediest predators in the world. Nicknamed widemouth, these Argentine horned frogs will eat anything that gets too close. Claire Alt has seen these gluttons at their worst.
Widemouth frogs from the Chacoan area will feed on anything up to their own size. They will cram in so much food that they literally will rip their stomach from overeating. Makes them a very dangerous predator. They could eat out a territory of everything their size or smaller. If they weren't consuming each other, you would have a very sterile environment.
So again, cannibalism appears to control their numbers. These widemouth frogs survive by ambushing unwary passers-by, but their gluttony can get the better of them. Greedy young frogs sometimes try to swallow other widemouths as large as themselves. They may even choke to death rather than give up their meal. It pays to be big here. Larger frogs are better cannibals. This fast food leads to fast growth, so they grow out of danger. It's a common strategy when size matters. But one cannibal takes this to extremes, eliminating rivals even before it's born.
This is a new sauce from the makers of veal herrings. It's an elegant suffusion of sun-ripened tomatoes and the quintessential Worcestershire sauce that...
That makes good food great. Tomato and Worcester table sauce, new from the Imperins.
But Uncle James, Mummy said to take me to the hairdresser's.
Ah, where's the money? I'll have a bash myself.
Hello there.
Hi.
What happened?
Terrible hairdresser. Leave it to me. I'm just waiting for the manager to get back, and then, whoa, is he in trouble?
Look, some idiot's cut my niece's hair. Yes, please. There's one other thing I need you to do, though. Okay, let me explain.
I know this haircut has nothing to do with you, but my sister is watching outside, and I want her to think that you did it. So you sort out this terrible mess for me, and I will pay you double, okay? You're very, very nice people. Thank you.
New Gavilas, relief from hellish heartburn and indigestion for up to 12 hours.
12 hours? What am I going to do for 12 hours?
Not even in the main stand. Sorry, love, they've all gone. Yes?
It's a bit like getting a job, really. I'm looking for work in the Job Centre Plus office. Of course, the best ones are first to go, aren't they? Tell you what'll be good. If you can find out about jobs by phone, bang, straight in there, Route 1. That'll be good.
There is an easier way into work. Job Seeker Direct, a wide range of full and part-time jobs in your area. Call us on 0845 60 60 234. We'll help you find the job you're looking for.
Domestos' thickest ever bleach has unbeatable clinging power, as demonstrated by Ed here. And because it clings for longer, it protects for longer. It even lasts after the flush. Thickest ever Domestos, no bleach lasts longer.
Bang & Olufsen relies on HP technology to produce and distribute products that bring the world perfect sound.
Get a free dishwasher when you spend £1,000 on kitchen cabinets only in the MFI sale for you. Offer ends 4th of February.
Women, don't expect any help on a Thursday. Nuts, the new magazine for men, every Thursday.
Now you can also call Yellow Pages 118 24/7. Whatever business or service you want 24/7.
Thank you.
The premiere of Vertical Limit, Thursday at 8 on 5.
One of the most shocking examples of animal cannibalism is found in sharks. It was discovered by accident. In 1948, a scientist cutting open a dead female sand tiger shark was badly bitten by her unborn baby still alive inside her. This attack by an unborn shark immediately raised the question, what was going on inside the womb? Why were the shark's teeth so well developed at such an early age? As sand tiger sharks are regularly fished along the coast of the United States, scientists had a chance to investigate. Dr. Grant Gilmore began dissecting any pregnant sharks the fishermen gave him. A surgical endoscope reveals a yolky soup of infertile eggs. But as it probes deeper, it comes eye to eye with a large fetal shark. Scattered around it, Dr. Gilmore found the bloody evidence of its cannibal attacks.
We find dead embryos actually within the fluid of the uterus, floating in this soup. And the other embryos are in the process of hunting them and consuming them one at a time within that uterus. At this point, the embryo is roughly 100 millimeters in length. As they cannibalize all the other siblings, they reach a length of 300 millimeters. Cannibalism actually promotes a very rapid growth rate within the uterus. Teeth are well developed at birth, and this is an active predator. It can consume fish on its own without any help from the parents. Now, if we compare it to other sharks, which may have larger litters, they typically have smaller embryos, and these smaller embryos do not have the size advantage in predation that the sand tiger shark has. So in fact, cannibalism has made this shark have a size advantage at birth.
Sand tiger sharks are the top predators of these inshore waters. Not surprising when you realize they learn to kill before they're even born. Most animals turn cannibal to help them live longer. But remarkably, some cannibal victims give themselves up as food. In a very different type of animal cannibalism, males are literally dying to mate. When a male praying mantis finds a female, he has to be very careful. He's much smaller than her, so he keeps well back from her jaws as he gets ready to mate. When it's all over, however, males appear more careless. A slip now, and it's curtains. One in 3 mantis males are eaten by their mate, and scientists believe it's no accident. The male appears to lose everything, but his sacrifice could be worth it to his future sons and daughters, and it makes sure that his genes live on. He's one of the largest meals his mate will ever eat. The extra calories will help her lay vast numbers of healthy eggs.
It seems an enormous risk for a male to run to approach a female who might actually consume and eat him. But in the long run, a male simply has to find a mate if he's to reproduce and pass on his genes to the next generation. A male who never takes that risk will never father offspring, and his genes will be lost.
One species of spider very deliberately makes a meal of himself. The redback is common to New Zealand and Australia. Again, the male is smaller than his mate. As he climbs onto her, he shows he's ready to mate by vibrating his body and tapping her with 2 boxing glove-shaped sacs called palps. These palps are full of sperm. He wants to inject her with a double whammy if he can. So, to get her full attention, he does a headstand, putting his body right in her jaws. While he pumps sperm into her, she pumps digestive juice into him, eating him alive. After emptying one lot of sperm, he struggles free. As she licks her fangs, he recovers. But that's not the end of it. He's a glutton for punishment. He always goes back to empty his second load. Again, the back flip. Again, she gnaws away, but this time he'll not escape. This is his one and only chance to mate. When it's all over, she binds him in silk to finish him off later. His sacrifice is no accident. It's a highly evolved and deliberate behavior, because it's worth it. He's the only mate she'll ever have, so she will have his young. This urge to make sure your genes live on is so powerful, it drives some animals to murder children. Every summer in Alaska, brown bears come to feed on salmon. It's a tense atmosphere. Male bears are normally solitary. They're not used to company. For a mother and cubs, all this testosterone makes it a very dangerous time. She's desperate for food. When she takes the plunge, her cubs try to follow. But the river's too strong. Within seconds, the cubs killed and brutally eaten. Scientists assume the adult knows the cub's not its own. But why eat a cub when there's a river full of fish? Scientists have found that in most cases, it's an adult male killing a male baby. It seems the adults are eliminating future rivals, young males who could grow up to compete for food, females, and territory. On Scotland's northeast coast, similar instincts drive male carrion crows to kill babies. There's a good supply of dead rabbits and lots of females to go round. But territory, the right tree to nest in, is in short supply. Without a tree to call their own, male crows can't get a mate. They wait for a chance to snatch one of the stunted willows from a breeding pair. Some bachelors stake out a nest site, watching for both parents to leave. With the parents gone, the bachelor swoops in on a deadly mission to seek and destroy. One of the chicks is stabbed and torn apart. As a parent comes back, the raider leaves with the last surviving chick. Death is all that remains. With their children dead, the pair abandon their tree. They'll look for a safer place to restart a family. But their loss is the cannibal's gain. The child killer has won the chance to breed and pass on his own genes. It's a gruesome form of cannibalism and is being found in many more animal societies. Lions are supreme predators. They can pull down animals much bigger than themselves. The females do most of the work, providing food for the pride's ruling male and his young. But behind the scenes of this apparently cooperative society, bloodthirsty forces are at work. Soon, these young males will want to take over a pride of their own. They'll often wipe out any trace of the previous ruler, including his children, in an unexpectedly savage way.
Infanticide, I think, strikes us as particularly gruesome. It seems so unfair, an adult picking on a juvenile so much smaller and weaker than itself. But there are situations where it may be in the interests, typically of a male, to eliminate the offspring of a rival of his own sex. In doing this, he may actually create a mating opportunity that he himself can take advantage of.
A female lioness won't mate if she already has cubs. While she's with the father of her cubs, she's fine. But if he's ousted from the pride, the new male has only one thing on his mind. And no mother can defend her babies from a killer twice her size and strength. This new male is on the lookout for cubs. It's his pride now, and he doesn't want the old male's children. One by one, they're murdered. he removes all traces of their existence.
When a male lion takes over a pride, he may sometimes kill the cubs fathered by the previous male. And in doing so, he encourages the females to remate sooner than they otherwise would. So by killing the young of another male, he's gaining a chance to mate himself.
Next morning, the lioness comes out of hiding and calls in case any cubs have survived. The sudden loss kickstarts her into heat within a few days. She's ready to mate, even with the killer of her own cubs. It's in her interest to mate with the cannibal. He's young and hopefully strong enough to protect her new family. He mates with her again and again to make sure that the cubs she has are his. His cannibalism has made certain that his selfish genes will dominate the pride. But cannibalism doesn't always have a clear-cut explanation. When groups of chimpanzees start killing children, it gets a lot more difficult to explain.
Where's the loo? I'm sure it was round here. Oh, I'm bursting.
Compared to ordinary cat litter, cat sand is 3 times more effective against odour. So even sensitive noses will need some help. Cat sand absorbs before odour can develop. Now all new Kias are available for just a £1 deposit.
27 days a year on regular army pay. Interested? Go to ta.mod.uk for your free TA guide.
Now the DVLA don't need to look here for out-of-date tax discs. They don't even need to look here or here. If your car tax is out of date or if you haven't declared your car as off the road, there's only one place the DVLA now need to look. Here. And if you aren't up to date, the database will automatically issue an £80 penalty. Here. The new car tax rules. Are you up to date?
Meanwhile, in Plymouth, the CFO of a thriving olive import company has a brainwave. By eliminating 1 olive from every jar of olives they sell, he could save the company £200,000. An idea so well received that he's asked to save £500,000 more.
There you go, Mr. Carter. Hard to believe a phone could save us £1 million, huh?
Cisco Systems. This is the power of the network now.
At 9 months old, you're discovering the world through your mouth and learning that extra stretch can make a big difference. That's why Pampers Active Fit has the stretchiest sides for perfect fit. Active Fit, the stretchiest sides. Inspired by babies, created by Pampers.
New Nestlé Sveltess. Creamy tasting fruit yogurt. Sveltess. Fat-free and fabulous. Liberate your belly button with new Sveltess from Nestlé.
2 cravings away, a tasty away with Nicotine L mint, fruit or new licorice gum. Giving up smoking needn't be hell with Nicotine L.
On
Unlike ordinary noodles, Amoy straight-to-wok noodles don't need boiling. They go straight from the pack to the wok, instantly absorbing the flavours of our new sauces. So now, making a stir-fry is so quick, we had to slow things down a bit. Amoy, the tastiest stir-fry in no time.
Little Red Riding Hood gone, bang wolf dead the end.
Got the urge for a Tex-Mex double melt meal? Just $2.99 at Burger King. Got the urge? Get to Burger King.
And now, when you get any new Kia Rio or Sedona, you get £1,000 cash back as well.
Pursuing a dream to find, rescue and rebuild a World War II fighter bomber.
You've tried so awfully hard, and you see, by damn, it's there.
A remarkable tale of passion, determination and perseverance. Search for the lost fighter bombers, tomorrow at 8 on 5.
Cannibalism can provide animals with food, help them mate, and make sure they pass on their genes. But when a mother turns baby killer, scientists have to ask different questions. Californian ground squirrels seem unlikely cannibals. They're mostly vegetarians, eating an occasional insect or lizard. What's more, they seem to live in harmony. At 5 weeks old, ground squirrel babies aren't aware of danger, so their mother has good reason to be edgy. Rattlesnakes are their main enemy. But the squirrels have a well-rehearsed routine. They raise the alarm to warn everyone. Then braver squirrels edge forward to pinpoint the threat. They may even join forces to mob the snake and drive it out. Even if they don't succeed, the noise and the delay gives parents time to shift their kids to safer burrows. But a team of scientists, led by Professor Don Orwings, discovered that snakes are not the squirrel's worst enemy. It comes from within. At 6 weeks old, the babies are much more adventurous, and their mother starts feeding some way off, building up her strength after the strain of raising them. Professor Orwings found these pups are in grave danger. They're being stalked by cannibals. But these are not bachelors needing a mate or burrow. These prowlers are mostly mothers.
Each year, only a minority of the females that are suckling their young actually engage in infanticide. It's as though a few specialize in it. The females almost seem to mask their intentions by sort of feeding their way over toward the pups. It's only at the last minute, when they get close to the pups, who seem oblivious very often, that they suddenly lunge. When you know a particular female is a routine killer, you can feel some intense emotions when you begin to see her initiate a hunt. The tension builds in your stomach, and indeed I've on occasion laughed at my students for sort of yelling in intense emotion when a kill was about to take place, but then found myself doing it as well.
The question is, why do these mothers do it? This time there's no obvious genetic link, although the killer never eats her sister's children, as this would weaken her own bloodline, her own genes. This cannibal seems to be triggered by stress, the strains of raising children and the need for food.
They are perhaps stressed from the need for protein, and that might be the need that's generating the infanticide, replacing the protein that's lost through suckling.
So the children of a killer female have a head start in life. They receive extra protein, fats, and calcium through her milk. Surprisingly, the mothers who lose children don't try to move their pups as they would if they were being attacked by a snake.
It's surprising how poorly equipped the mothers appear to be to deal with the problem of infanticide. It really contrasts with how they deal with the problem of snake predation, for example, where if a snake repeatedly returns to go after her pups, the mother will actually move her pups away. In contrast with that, a mother may be visited repeatedly by an infanticidal female and lose pups to it repeatedly, but not move away at all. It's quite surprising.
But for some parents, moving house would make no difference, because the killer is one of the family. A pair of swamp harriers have just started to raise their chicks. Both parents are working hard, but it's unlikely to be happy families for long. 3 chicks have hatched a day or so apart. The last to arrive is weak and struggles to get anything to eat. In a good year with plenty of food, the 3rd chick would do okay. But this year, it dies within days. It doesn't go to waste. As the 2 remaining chicks grow, so does their hatred. Again, if food is plentiful, they'll both survive. But food's short. The parents are struggling. And at 3 weeks old, the hungry sisters are mortal enemies. Both parents are working flat out to feed them. The father even passing food to his mate on the wing. She interrupts their fighting. She doesn't bother giving them separate portions now. And the stronger sibling often takes it all, leaving her sister to go hungry. The stresses of hunger and fighting take their toll. In 6 weeks, only 1 chick's left alive. The mother drags her daughter's body into the nest. The surviving chick needs no help tearing up her sister. She's perfectly designed for dismembering flesh. This cannibalism makes sure at least 1 chick survives, even when times are hard. In good seasons, all the chicks will live. These parents worked hard. They didn't try to control who would live or die. But that's not always the case. Sometimes, parents decide their children's fate. The Scottish burying beetle is a surprisingly dedicated parent, but it takes drastic action if it has too many mouths to feed. This beetle couple have found what they need to start a family: a dead mouse. The first thing they have to do is bury it to stop it being stolen. The mouse is 100 times heavier than either of them, yet they manage to drag it to a suitable burial spot. It'll feed their forthcoming family. In 2 days, not only have they dug a tomb, they've also embalmed the mouse's body. They've plucked its fur and rolled it into a ball, smearing it with a preservative secretion. Soon the couple's grubs are being fed regurgitated mouse. It's sophisticated parenting. But suddenly, this dedicated pair reveal a darker side. they start to eat their young. So why the change from caregiver to cannibal? Incredibly, they're altering the size of their new family to match the weight of the mouse, the baby's food. This bizarre behavior is all about limited resources. But it seems wasteful. Why not lay fewer eggs in the first place? While female burying beetles can vary the number of eggs they lay, they can't do it precisely enough to match the size of the mouse. It's a form of family planning, coldly logical, part of the beetle's natural behavior in good years and bad. But most mothers would only eat their children if it's the only option left.
Sometimes, though, cannibalism can simply be a response to stressful or unusual conditions. It may not always be part of the natural repertoire of a species. It may be a response to stress, something that an animal is driven to by difficult, unusual circumstances.
A mother mouse will sometimes cut her losses and eat her newborn babies if she's hungry. But once they're furred and half-grown, only the most desperate situation will drive her to such an extreme measure. If a cat finds a mouse litter, it comes back day after day until the mother can't take it anymore. The stress pushes her too far. Rather than lose them to a cat, she eats as many of her babies as she can, reabsorbing the energy she's put into them. This mother is a reluctant cannibal, the way we'd like to think most animals might be, especially the ones who look like us. But the latest evidence from one of our closest relatives shatters that dream. In Tanzania, in East Africa, chimps live in separate communities, between 20 and 100 strong. They forage for food in smaller bands, using a complex variety of calls to stay in touch with each other. Most of us imagine chimps as gentle apes, leading peaceful lives. But this is far from the truth.
For a long time, we made the chimpanzee over into our own image, a wishful thinking image, as it were, because we definitely coded the chimp as a peaceful vegetarian at first, and it was only Jane Goodall's long-term research that brought out the fact that chimpanzees are excellent and highly enthusiastic predators of colobus monkeys in particular.
A colobus hunt starts quietly. The top male chimp drives the monkeys up into the canopy. His companion blocks their escape route. Now the younger males join in. Finally, a colobus is cornered. More hunters wait on the sidelines, hugely excited at the prospect of a kill.
Chimpanzees are very strongly and powerfully motivated to go after the young of any mammalian species that's large enough to be worthy of a meal. One of the reasons being that their favorite food is brains, and it's very nice to be able to crunch right down on the top of the head and have the best part of the feast at the beginning.
We now know these are not the peaceful leaf and fruit eaters we thought. Chimpanzees prize meat above almost everything else. When a young female arrives, she excitedly offers sex for a piece of the meat. But she's out of luck. When the top male comes in, he walks off with most of it, leaving the others to pick at the scraps. As shocking as it seems, it's now accepted that these attacks are part of normal chimp behavior. But no one was quite ready for the next revelation, that chimps can turn this bloodlust on their own kind. Chimpanzees can be cannibals too.
Diets. By the evening, I'm always hungry. Everything reminds me of food. With new Slim Fast frozen ready meals, it doesn't have to be like this. Their generous portions release energy steadily and help keep hunger away. Slim Fast frozen ready meals. Stop dieting. Start losing weight.
Why are you waiting?
HSA's simple health cash plans give you cash back towards your everyday healthcare bills from the equivalent of £2.20 a week for the whole family. HSA, what are you waiting for?
Wouldn't it be great if you didn't have to go back and forth to get repeat prescriptions from your GP? Well, you don't.
Pop into Boots and we'll do the rest.
The things I do to hydrate my skin. At least keeping my hair and scalp hydrated to doddle.
Quench your thirsty hair with Head & Shoulders Hydrating Smooth and Silky. It gives your hair 3 types of hydrating ingredients and washes away 100% of flakes.
Soft, shiny, no dandruff hair. Ta-da!
Head & Shoulders Hydrating Smooth and Silky for dry, damaged hair. One of 7 shampoos to suit your hair type.
Invent one for my skin, please.
Hello, I'm Susan. I live just round the corner from you.
Oh, right.
Now, come in. It's my boyfriend, Chris. We're going through a really rough patch at the moment. I know he loves me and everything. It's just that, well, the spark's gone. Do you know what I mean? We've been together for 11 years, and you know, like every couple, we have our ups and downs. But I think this time it's different.
Okay.
I don't know. What do you think? I mean, do you think I should stay, or do you think we should go our separate ways? I just don't know what to do. It's like...
Hi-ho! 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 Hi-ho!
Don't suppose I'd be much good at that.
Use your head. Teach.
Batman, a new villain has commandeered the Gotham Museum.
Ow! Seth!
He's calling himself Mr. Freeze.
Ow! Ow! Ooh!
Batman and Robin, Sunday at 8 on 5.
In Tanzania, in East Africa, chimpanzees divide the forest into territories. Here, anthropologist Jane Goodall was the first to witness the lengths they'd go to defend their patch.
It was in 1974 that we had the first intimation that chimpanzees could be violently, territorially aggressive. And it was incredibly shocking for all of us, I think.
They're at least as bad as humans are, as we really are. That is a species that always has murder in its own midst and very frequently develops warfare.
The ruling male chimps are all closely related. When they band together to patrol their boundaries, they look and behave like a raiding party.
They have a very special walk, which looks very cautious. They observe strict radio silence, meaning that they suppress their vocalizations, although they're normally a very noisy and expressive animal. They send out scouts who go up trees to look out. They also collect in groups while they do reconnoitering, and they will scan, very systematically scan the territory ahead of them. And they're in all ways really very similar to what human soldiers are trained to do in armies.
The patrol leader picks up the smell of an intruder.
One reason the patrols are so silent is because they want to sneak up on lone individuals on the other side who may be coming over to take a little bit of their resources and kill them. They'll sometimes kill the infant just with a female and eat part of it. And they also kill males and non-estrus females on sight.
Outsiders are attacked only if they're outnumbered by the patrol. This mother, traveling alone with her toddler and baby, is a soft target. She makes a break for the territory border, but she's too slow.
These were attacks that lasted 20 minutes, were extremely brutal, and there was no way that the chimps could recover. When a stranger female from a neighboring community is attacked and her infant may be seized, and particularly if it's a male, then killed and at least partially eaten, it's like, almost like a ritual kind of cannibalism.
Cannibal meat from a tribal raid like this is savored just like any other meat the chimps hunt. The other chimps beg for bones and scraps from the senior males, who take the choice cuts. There are many complex motives for chimpanzee cannibal raids, far beyond the lust for meat. They're defending their turf and resources from strangers. They may also be settling old scores and protecting their children's future. Certainly, their children will benefit if rival groups are weakened or removed. But a few years ago, scientists began reporting a new and more chilling phenomenon. Recently, a Japanese team in the Mahale forest in Tanzania filmed a horrifying cannibal attack on a mother from within her own community. A mother with a new baby is threatened by a senior male. He charges her. His male allies join in the attack and snatch the child. The mother follows, but they drive her off, using her own baby's body as a weapon. Eventually, the baby is killed with a bite to the skull. The frenzied males again share the body. Shockingly, one of them could be this baby's father. Several attacks like this have now been seen, but still not everyone's ready to admit that it's a natural behavior.
I think people are particularly reluctant to admit the possibility of infanticide and cannibalism in great apes because they seem so similar to us. It really strikes a nerve when you see an animal superficially so human-looking engaging in acts which to us would be horrific. I mean, indeed, there's still a lot of debate about how often cannibalism does occur. Some would argue that accounts of cannibalism have been exaggerated. Others claim that there really are many instances of this kind of behaviour. So the debate rages on.
Scientists struggle to explain this kind of cannibalism. But a close look at the relationships between the chimps provides some clues. The babies killed have all been males, with mothers who've either recently joined the group or who've been roaming on the edge of the territory. So the killers might believe that the babies they kill are illegitimate, not their own.
Where a young female transfers into a group, she's not a stranger anymore, she's part of their group, then it seems that her first infant may be killed. And maybe this can be related. The males aren't sure whose baby that is. So we have an awful lot to learn about it. It's wide open.
It's in the ruling male's interest to destroy any threat to their own sons. So killing the children of possibly unknown fathers appears to make sense. But there's another kind of chimpanzee cannibal attack, far harder to explain. Females killing babies within their community.
Of course, we could be looking at a series of incidents with different causes. I mean, chimps are so complex, and behavior varies so much from one individual to another. If we examine the whole spectrum of aggression in chimps, we find that a great deal of it is innate. And I have no hesitation in saying that a great deal of aggression is innate in ourselves. And if the dark side of human nature is deeply embedded in our primate heritage, so too is the compassionate and loving side, because we see wonderful examples of care and concern and compassion in our chimpanzee relatives.
Maybe it's because we see ourselves so clearly in chimpanzee mothers that we find it hard to believe that they can be cannibals, just like scorpions, alligators, or crows. They're just as capable of cannibalism. But what about us? Should we be pointing the finger at ourselves?
I think human behaviour is more complex and more flexible than that of most animals. So it's very dangerous to extend evolutionary explanations of animal cannibalism to human behaviour. We have to be cautious about drawing links of that kind.
There's a brutal evolutionary logic to cannibalism, however horrific it seems. Despite the price paid by the victim, there's a payoff for the cannibal's family. And let's face it, at times in our own history, we've been cannibals too.
The squid's natural source of food is gone. It's got nothing to eat, so it's going after us.
Grab a bottle and some nibbles and settle down for the beast next on 5, but I give the killer.